And good evening from downtown Los Angeles. It's been almost a week, I guess 5 days, but I'm back at it. And I've got a very special guest in a very special location. Hey, Rutherford. And so for those of you who may recall from night 5, I think the video was called Militarized Los Angeles Night 5, something like that. There was quite the incident that played out at this very parking lot right here as I was trapped in between LAPD police lines, and I was trapped between police lines with none other than capt.777 from Instagram, who joins me right now. So come on in, capt.777.
How's it going, y'all?
I got that right. It's capt.777. Right?
Capt.777, but it's correct, yes.
So tell the audience a little bit about yourself before we get into what happened on that Sunday night.
A little bit about myself, I keep to myself. I was down here last night, 5 nights ago, whatever it was. I don't recall exactly.
No, it's almost 2 weeks
2
now,
weeks?
right?
Is it 2 weeks? I want to say so.
I think it's like 1 week and 5 days, something like that.
Something like that. All right, so a little bit about myself. I'm here downtown LA. I live here, but I work over here in the valley. And the valley, is big. I'm not gonna get into specific where I work, but just out and about. I don't know. This is my first time live streaming or whatever. It's a little awkward.
No problem. We'll get into the story. So I already reminded people. For those of you just tuning in, this was night 5 of my protest coverage. This mask is really out of place. So it was night 5 of my protest coverage, and you and I just happened to be trapped here. We're in a parking lot. I'm gonna flip the camera around. We're in a parking lot along Broadway. So this is Broadway right here, and we're in between 2nd and 3rd Streets in downtown LA. And Capt.777, come on this way. So there was a police line straight up here around 2nd Street, and a police line straight down around 3rd Street. We were trapped. And then there were some people standing right here, yeah?
Yeah, that's correct.
And then on the other side, at the end of the parking lot, which I think I filmed a little bit, we saw a bunch of people who were getting detained, right?
That's correct. They had the whole section closed off the gate, so there was no way for us to get out. And again, officers down here, officers down there. We were just basically trapped in here. This is where we ended up. This is where we stayed. And there was no way for us to leave at that point when we were here. And now the whole section closed off.
I don't know if you got a better glimpse than I did, but it looked to me like when we saw the people down that way, that the officers had a bunch of people zip tied and pressed up against the fence of the parking lot.
I do remember that. I don't know if you remember this as well. Down here, they were.
We can walk over there.
They were looking through someone's car. The owner of the vehicle didn't seem like he was there.
Where was this? You probably remember better than I do.
Down here, right in the corner over there, it was a black, hunchback. That's all I can remember. I remember it was a black car, hunchback. It's really all I remember.
I remember we were hanging out right around this wall here. You were eating your noodles, which all the commenters were talking about. They started calling you Noodle Man.
For those of you guys who don't know, when I was detained, the officers detained me, grabbed my plate of food, tossed it on the floor, and that right there I believe was a real crime because food costs money, and there's starving people out there, and they really could have really just put it on the floor, put it on top of the car instead of literally going on the floor.
So we'll get more into that in a minute. So right around this fence was where we saw a bunch of people pinned, and I think they had zip ties on them, right?
Yeah, that is correct. And this is what I'm saying. Right around that corner where they were looking for someone's car. Again, I don't remember seeing anybody detained there. I don't even think the owner of the vehicle was even here. I just remember walking over here with my mule, and I see the officers looking through that individual's car. And then I remember they flashing the light at us and saying to get out of here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there were police that looked at us, or they started walking in the parking lot. I don't remember exactly, and they told us to get out of this area of the parking lot, and we had to go over to that area of the parking lot because we had nowhere else to go, right?
Yeah, we didn't have nowhere to go. They were telling us to go back over there, and then we had these police officers that were down the street over here, and somebody on second and on third. So wherever we went, they just saw us. They told us like, okay, you need to go here or go over there, but there was really nowhere for us to go.
Okay, so before you tell everyone exactly what the police did to you,
Okay.
before you do that, we, for the audience who are tuned in, specifically the ones who didn't see the stream, we have it queued up for you. Cops robbing people, says Jane Seymour. So, hey John Dom, thanks for tuning in. So, for those of you who did not see the stream, or maybe saw it and don't remember, we have it queued up for you, the part right before the officers arrive, and we're gonna play it for you right now. Alright, hopefully no problems. More officers approaching. I'm turning on my Uber ride. Which direction do I go? They just arrested the man who I thought was going to be my Uber driver. The officers told me to leave, so I'm going to listen to them and I'm going to leave. All right, you can stop it. So let's move right over. And was that, John, were you just asking what'd you miss? Because I'm not positive if that comment was on the current stream or on the. Oh, okay. Well, you'll get caught up. So what you guys just saw on the stream was us standing right here, basically, because we were close to that gate.
Yeah.
And why don't? Oh, John's saying you missed the previous stream. Well, I'm gonna link it in the description after I finish this video, but it's on my channel, Night 5, and it's something like downtown Los Angeles militarized on Night 5. That's something like it. But okay, we have capt.777 here to explain what all happened. You guys saw them. Night 5, yes. You guys saw or heard them say, "Get out of here." When they said "get out of here," they were pointing at me. And then I started walking away, but let's.
I was actually gonna say that. I was gonna add a little bit more to that. When they said to get out of here and they pointed at you, you can't see in the video that they pointed at you, but you can see if you look at the shadow, you can tell that they pointed directly at you and told you to leave. I don't know if you guys look at the video, the audience, if you guys look at the video, you guys can see that. But what ended up happening in the video?
Why don't we turn around because there's some bad lighting.
Well, in the video, you can see 2 officers that approached me. There was actually more than 2. There was about maybe more than 8, I want to say, officers. In the video, again, you could only see 2. Once the officers pretty much had me, they grabbed my food, threw it on the floor. We walked all this. We walked along over here.
Well, so at the very beginning, I'm walking off. Then what? They grabbed your hands? You said they grabbed you. What do you mean? And good evening to everyone joining.
So they grabbed my arms. They put my hands around my back. They put the zip ties because they weren't using
handcuffs.
The handcuffs, the traditional handcuffs that they usually use. They use zip ties. We walked along over here. They didn't really pat me down or whatever. They just asked me like, didn't I know that there was a curfew going on? And to be honest, I told the officer that I had, just had woken up. I went out to food, and I was working as an Uber driver at the moment. Only thing is, the individual who requested a ride had canceled, so I ended up here. And
I was requesting a ride.
You were requesting a ride, and it sucked that I ended up getting, detained, and I wasn't able to give you a ride to your car. I don't know how far you walked, but I'm glad you're okay and you were able to get to your car, obviously home as well.
But I made it out all right. We all know that. And now we know that you made it out all right. But what happened to you before you made it out all right?
So before I made it out all right, they had me here. They walked with me. They pretty much had me go down the street towards Second. Once I was there, the officers, I heard them talk among each other, like, all right, so we're gonna end up taking them in. And the reason
So
why,
they brought you out of the parking lots,
that is correct.
and we're now on Broadway, and they brought you what, up to the corner of Broadway and Second straight ahead?
Where the traffic lights are, right there, I was in the corner. They basically, like I said, they couldn't remove the zip tie from, they couldn't remove the zip ties because
Why?
the officer who had the pliers to cut the zip ties, they don't know where he went. So since they didn't know where he went, there was no way for them to get the zip tie off. And
So when they brought you up to this corner, did they start acknowledging that they made a mistake and they need to let you go? Is that why they were talking about cutting the zip ties?
I want to say so. They weren't really talking a lot, but they did say that, like, all right, what are we gonna do with them? They tried cutting the zip ties. They couldn't remove the zip ties, and then the officer who put the zip ties on me, and I believe it was a female officer. She was probably the only female there that I remember seeing in that group that came towards me at the moment. They tied the zip ties a little too tight, and I felt my left arm start feeling a little tingly. I brought that up to their attention, and that's when they decided to try to cut it, really make an effort, because they didn't have the pliers. One of the officers tried using a blade or a knife. I don't know exactly what. I couldn't see. I did feel whatever they were using slide against my wrist, and I heard one of the officers say, we're just gonna have to take them in.
Try to speak up a little bit. Someone's saying it's hard to hear.
Oh, it's hard to hear. I'm sorry. So where was I? They were trying to remove the zip tie. They couldn't. They tried using a blade, a knife, whatever they tried using. That didn't work. It nearly cut me. I felt the blade rub against my
Your wrist?
my wrist. And after that, I guess the officer who had the pliers cut the zip ties, and from there they told me to leave. I didn't bother asking them anything else. I took off.
So they did or did not cut you?
They did not, but I did feel.
Let's get away from the traffic.
Yeah.
They hurt your wrist or something?
Yeah, no, they didn't necessarily hurt me, but I felt the blade or whatever they were using rub against my wrist. And I did hear another officer said, we're just not to take them in.
Take them in, like bring you into jail or what?
I guess they were going to take me into the station or whatever that meant for them. And I'm glad they didn't, because, now I'm out and about. I don't have to worry about, I don't know, I guess if I did get taken in and I got charges or whatever for whatever reason, I don't have to worry about that, basically is what I'm saying.
So they never gave you a citation?
They never gave me a citation, that's correct.
And did they bring up anything other than curfew?
They did bring up the curfew. I did mention to them that I was out to buy food. I did mention to them that, I was here to pick up also a customer who requested an Uber driver. But that customer had canceled on me, and then there was no way for me to leave because I ended up here, and they ended up closing off the streets.
The curfew had an exception for people who are working, so I don't know if it crossed their mind or what, but if you're working as an Uber driver, then you had every right, as far as I understand, to be out.
Yeah.
Just as I did as media. But we don't know why they pointed at me and told me to leave and grabbed you. There were some comments about that being profiling or what.
I want to say that they were maybe profiling because I was the only one that they ended up detaining. I didn't see anybody else. I was there with them for I want to say close to maybe more than 30 minutes, around maybe 40 minutes. During my time with them, they never brought anybody else. I was the only individual with them.
So they were holding you over by
By
Second Street. So we did see a bunch of people as we were detailing at the beginning of this broadcast, and you could see in the other broadcast. John's saying I can't find the video. I'll put the link in the description after I'm done with this broadcast, but it's on my channel, and the videos are in order, you know, night 2, night 3, night 4. This is night 5. This is night 5, and it's titled something like Militarized Los Angeles on night 5, something like that. Actually, we could pull it up on we could pull it up on your phone, so people can get even more clarity. But for those of you who didn't see both the video, no, that is it. There we go, right there. Live on night 5, Militarized Los Angeles. That's the name of the video on YouTube, and it's on my channel. And do you still have that clip pulled up?
I believe I do. Let's find out.
Someone's saying it's really messed up. They took the blade to your wrist, cutting, and that's scary. For those of you who didn't see this earlier, we'll replay it right now. Go a little before 1:18, if possible. The exact clip is right around 1 hour and 18 minutes into the video. Yeah, that works.
Oh, come on.
But connection problems.
Oh man, I thought Verizon was supposed to be the best.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Hopefully, no problem tomorrow. I'm taking on my Uber ride.
So you can hear me saying that I'm waiting for my Uber ride.
Which direction do I go? Yikes. They just arrested the man who I thought was going to be my Uber driver. Officers told me to leave. So I'm going to listen to them and I'm going to leave. I am now walking.
All right, and I walk back to my car, and I got to make a correction because they never arrested you, right? So they only detained you.
They only detained me. That is correct. But like I said, they were talking because the only reason they were going to take me in was because they couldn't remove the zip tie.
Which is a little odd, but I guess it's maybe a heat of the moment thing, just as it's a heat of the moment thing for me saying that they arrested you. they came at us a little aggressively.
They really did.
So someone's saying essential workers have rights to be on the streets and medical emergencies and media. Correct. So I as media had the right to be out there, although the police were giving me the impression that I did not. I mean, you saw them address me, right? Say, they were very adamant. They had us encircled, and they were aggressively pointing at me and saying, "Get out!" Right?
They told me to get out, and then for me it wasn't the same. They just came at me. In the video you could see 2, but there was more than 2 officers, and at the same time, I was upset. Not the fact that they detained me, the fact that they threw my food. That was really all that got me upset.
I guess that ties back to some of the. Yeah, my voice is much better. I lost. You probably weren't aware, but my voice went very hoarse from live streaming day after day and screaming over honking horns. But people were making some funny comments. Like there were people calling you Noodle Man, which you've got a sense of humor, so I don't think you're upset about.
Not at all.
And there were people saying free capt.777, which I like that, and we would have had to actually made that hashtag spread, but they let you go.
Yeah. One of the comments that I read that I found hilarious was that somebody said, "Wait, they arrested the captain?" ? And I thought that was pretty funny. Just because you think of a captain as someone, and just someone a captain, someone who's on top.
So how did you come up with that handle for yourself, or do you not want to tell?
How did I come up with
the capt.777 handle?
You know what? I just really like the way it sounds, captain. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this as my username. But really, I just it didn't really. How do I say it? I just chose a random name, Captain. I guess I liked it.
Someone's saying he got as arrest. I'm not sure what that refers to. Have you seen much of the protests over the past couple weeks, or have you been completely isolated
I've
from
been
them?
completely isolated. I've just been sticking to working, but I have been keeping it, have been keeping up to date, watching your posts that you post on Instagram. I've seen pictures that have surfaced that people have been shot at with rubber bullets. I brought that up earlier. It's just, I don't know. I haven't been out in the, where the whole action's at. So I can't really comment anything on that.
But you did. So you haven't had affiliation with the protests.
Not at all.
The night when they came after us, you had nothing to do with the protests.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. I was just out, just like I said, out to pick up a customer who requested an Uber ride. I was out to pick up that customer. That customer ended up canceling. So.
And then I wanted to be.
Yes.
In hindsight, I admit I was scared off. For those of you who are tuned in to a broadcast on Saturday or Sunday, you might have heard me talking about a conversation I later had with the LAPD media relations. And after the conversation, it was pretty clear to me that even though the police weren't acting like it, I had every right to be out recording and reporting during curfew. But I admit I was scared off, and what happened to you is a large part of why I was scared off, and why I was really nervous about reporting during curfew, specifically in downtown LA, and specifically because of the possibility of them encircling us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you, just because it is I guess it is a frightening situation to be in.
And someone says capt.777 so crazy.
Love that. It's all good.
I don't know what so crazy refers to. Maybe your story. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm just trying to feed you some of the comments if they're good ones. But sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, like I was saying, I don't blame you.
Oh, did you? Dexton, who's a regular commenter, is asking, did you finish the noodles? So I guess Dexton missed some of this interview.
Yeah, no.
What happened to your noodles? Repeat it for.
So what happened to my noodles? The officer who put the zip ties on me got my plate of food out of my hands, threw it to the floor.
And that was as soon as they approached you,
Yes.
they grabbed your hands, took the noodles
Yes.
out, threw the noodles on the ground, and then zip tied your hands behind your back. Yeah?
That's exactly what happened. Yes.
All right. So at that point, I guess you're no longer Noodle Man.
No longer Noodle Man. I lost that title. Once those noodles hit the floor.
Yeah, well, at that point, I wasn't so much of a ballsy journalist.
Oh man.
I was a journalist in retreat at that point.
Yeah, I don't.
Trying to get in my car as fast as possible, which I think that was all on the live stream. It was a boring end of the live stream. Now someone wants the noodles.
Someone wants the noodles?
If someone wants, someone just saying they want noodles now.
Noodles?
You want to talk about what happened to you a couple days ago or no?
I'll just say that I was robbed, and that's about it. Yeah, I was robbed, and really what was taken from me wasn't much. It didn't have nothing of value. It was an empty iMac box, and the people who took that from me, I guess, might have thought that the computer was in that box, but they ended up just taking off with an empty box. That's, I don't know if it's worth. I don't know what it's worth, an empty box.
Yeah, you can't hear because there's a bus going by, but someone's saying that they're thankful that you're okay. This robbery has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Nothing to do with the protests. No.
You know what? I don't know, but I'm not gonna lie, it did happen like near, what is it? We're like not too far from like Koreatown or whatever.
Well, Koreatown's a pretty short drive from here, but it's not really walking distance.
No, but yeah, I was around that area, and yeah, to my surprise, you know, these people thought you'd be like, oh, we're gonna take an iMac from this guy, but you know, jokes on them. I only had an empty box, and that was it.
Well, I'm glad they didn't get your computer or
Yeah.
whatever valuables they'd be going for, which I can relate to a little bit, because when I was robbed and beaten while filming looting the night before we had our incident here, like I was telling you earlier, that there was a lady screaming out, "Go get his phone," and they never got my phone. They got both of my battery packs that I had at the time, so those weren't that cheap, and they got my helmet, which had something to do with why I got the beatdown that I got. But they never got my phone.
That's good, because the phone would have been your biggest loss right there. I mean, a phone.
And the phone ended up recording the whole, not on video but on audio.
Audio. Man, I'm glad to hear they didn't take your phone, because you know, phones right now are not that cheap, and especially in this economy, the way shit is going.
So I'm getting some questions about the protests here in LA, which I'm gonna address momentarily. Is there anything else you want to add before I talk a little bit more about the protests?
I think I'm good. Yeah, I think I'm done.
But definitely people should follow you on Instagram at capt.777.
That is correct. Captain.777. 3 sevens.
Did I have it right I hope I have it right in the video title. I gotta check. If I don't have... Someone saying, geez, you both been through tough times. You need a coconut oil back massage.
Coconut oil back massage. Oh my God.
I don't think you can... I mean, on the black market you can get that, but with COVID restrictions, I don't think you can get a coconut oil back massage in LA right now. Okay, so it's spell it out.
CAPT.
CAPT.777. All right.
Let me just go ahead and pull that up.
Or we could actually tell me when you're ready.
Let's see. Alrighty, here we have it pulled up.
Big glare. There, you can see CAPT.777.
Lovely.
And all right, last question. What were your favorite comments or jokes about the whole situation?
I saw one of them. Somebody mentioned noodle profiling. I thought that was pretty funny. They arrested the captain. That one was my favorite. I think someone had commented. What did they comment? You know what? I don't recall, but I had someone who reached out, who saw your live stream, and they screenshotted some of the comments that some people were saying, and I was just really known as the noodle guy, and I really loved that. I found it very funny. I loved it.
All right, then you've got a good sense of humor. If you like being known as the noodle man.
Yes. I might even change that to my Instagram. I don't even know. Or maybe make a second Instagram, just the noodle guy or whatever. It sounds a little stupid, but I'm thinking about it now.
It'll be your secondary brand.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm glad that they let you go. I'm glad that they didn't really mess with you too much. Although it sounds like someone's saying #FreeNoodleMan was pretty good. I missed that one.
I don't think I saw that one. Oh, I think I might have. I'm not sure.
I
look at them.
was gonna say I'm glad that they didn't really mess you up. Although it sounds like they bumped your wrist a little bit.
Yeah, no. I mean, they didn't cut me or anything, but I did feel whatever. I want to say it was a blade, because when I heard an officer say you're gonna end up cutting them, I just assumed it was a blade that they were using to try to cut the zip ties. And then again, the zip ties are pretty thick. They're not thin. They're not thin. They were using pliers to cut them, but they didn't have the pliers.
You're also getting one last remark that it's unethical and that cops should not toss out food.
Oh yeah, no. That was the upsetting part, because really that was the reason why I came out. I turned on the I went online to start, what is it? I guess giving out rides, not giving out rides, but start working. And you know, that customer canceled, which is okay. But yeah, that whole food was really what got me, because that was the whole reason why I came out as well.
All right, well, I'm sorry that happened, and even more so about this robbery. But it sounds like you outsmarted the robbers, and that you're doing all right. So stay safe. I
get. Well, because you're right in the action. You're right in the middle of it. Right in the middle of the action. You're going out there reporting. You know, you're a journalist. You know, that's what you're doing. But you know, you of course want to stay safe, protect yourself. Wear that helmet.
I've got a new helmet. I don't know if you've seen it. Oh yeah, you got to see the real thing. The audience has seen me wear it quite a few days now.
I saw a couple of the posts that you take it. I saw like little clips too. That you wearing it. So I was like, that's smart, because you know, I've seen pictures that have surfaced online of officers using rubber bullets and shooting at people. So that's good that you're wearing a helmet, just, you know, for protection. You always want to protect yourself, especially when people are looting, they're trashing their city, you know, they're breaking into businesses, stealing stuff, you know. So having that extra protection is always good. This kind of coming in, could have put anywhere else.
Park's right in the middle of the live stream. But all right, so there we go. capt.777, you guys have heard it. I'm glad we got to reunite right where this happened.
Yeah,
and that you got to tell your story for the record. And I'm gonna address a couple questions about the protests. So, man, thanks a lot.
Of course, man.
And
once again, it was good seeing you. I'm gonna see you soon.
Oh, sure. I don't.
Yeah, just as in fact, you know.
That's some hand sanitizer for the record. And someone's saying bless you, Captain.
Love that. Bless you too. Bless
all right, so
who's watching this stream.
So on that note, thank you very much for telling the story. And I'm gonna take some questions about the protest real quickly. All right. So I just went over by City Hall. I'm sure you guys are aware that I have not been out streaming for the past 5 days. Yeah, it's been 5 days. It's Friday night, and the last time I streamed was Sunday night. The protests here are not nearly as large, although maybe on Sunday, yeah, there will be. So this weekend, if there are large protests, I plan to be there. I've heard something about there being a large protest or protests on Sunday, and I need to monitor what's going to be happening. But if there's some big action tomorrow, which is Saturday, LA time, or Sunday, then I plan on being out there and streaming it. Now, I was just over at City Hall right before filming, or before starting this stream, and there are protesters out there, but not so many of them. I'm just sick of this, so I'm going in the corner where no one else is. You can see my face is pretty much healed. The marks are just about gone. If you guys want me right now to end this stream and go over to City Hall and start, I'm in contact with the girl, and she's Annabelle Osorio has been just a tremendous help with everything. You might have seen that I uploaded a video earlier today showing the standoff from something like a week ago, standoff between protesters and police. That was a compilation that Annabelle put together, editing together her footage with my footage, and she's doing more of that. It's just been a huge help. So anyone who wants to see more footage over on her channel, it's Annabelle Osorio, and go check it out. No, I've not gotten a scooter, but it seems like now I have access to multiple vehicles. Do any of you want to see what's going on at City Hall right now? It's just about a 5-minute walk from here. It's not really a whole lot of action. There's some protesters out there, and there are tents pitched on the lawn straight across from City Hall, so it is somewhat of an Occupy feel. But there's not a lot of action out there, and I don't know if it really warrants another stream tonight. So some people are saying, why not? It's not dead. I could go over there and interview protesters, but are you guys gonna tune in? There's not a lot of action there. They're also boarded up buildings. Maybe some of you want to see. I just drove by the Starbucks that I filmed get looted on the third or fourth night. Actually, I think it was the third night of protests here in LA before the major looting took place. At the end of one stream, as I was running out of battery, I was showing you guys this Starbucks getting looted, and I went over by there. It's got some paintings or some artwork on it now. Take more Q&As? Well, go for it. Ask away right now. Yeah, I think what Joey's saying is pretty much it. There's a lot of commentary. I could go around, I could point out different buildings where stuff happened, or I could go interview some protesters at City Hall, but there's not a lot of action. And I'm just hoping that on Sunday particularly, but at any time throughout this weekend, that there will be a larger protest for me to cover. The businesses are still boarded up all over the city. I'm not saying that all businesses, or even the majority of businesses are not. And yes, I can do more Q&A, I can do more commentary now that my voice is back. Although maybe I shouldn't abuse my voice too much. Maybe it'll go hoarse again. But yeah, there are lots of businesses boarded up, even in areas that weren't hit by looting. I see lots of businesses boarded up. Lots of them. Yeah. I mean, I don't plan on getting a scooter, but I think the combination of me being able to drive and link up with other people who have vehicles, I think that should have me pretty well covered. What was I saying? Lots of businesses boarded up, although the majority of businesses in LA aren't. I'm tempted to go to Seattle, but I don't want to get on a plane and go up there and then just have everything die down as soon as I get there. So, at least for now, I'm just focused on what's happening in LA. Maybe that will change, maybe not. Thank you, but it's been more than 2 days. It's been 5 days. The last stream was Sunday night, and now it's Friday night, LA time. Right now, I'm staying put in LA. If something is so compelling to the point where it's like Minneapolis on day one, and they're about to burn down a police station, and the whole city's on fire, if something is at that level, then I'm willing to get on a plane. I just drove through Hollywood before coming to downtown. Oh, thank you very much, Dexton. I'll put my PayPal in this description after I'm finished, but my PayPal is in the About page on the channel. Yeah, Magic Monkey, good to catch up with you. Likewise, I think you saw my Bilderberg video. I think. I haven't kept up with all the comments, but yeah, I was in Hollywood right before coming downtown tonight, and lots of businesses boarded up, but it's pretty calm there. It's nothing like it was during the looting. It's nothing like it was when there were mass protests going on, but Hollywood might go off tomorrow or on Sunday. Last Sunday, Hollywood, as you guys saw from the stream, was packed. And I think what's happening in Seattle that people are most interested in is in the so-called autonomous zone. I think there will be protests tomorrow in LA. I think more likely than not, I'll find something. If Seattle were to get really crazy, then I am going to consider going there. I think more likely than not there's going to be a large protest or protests here in LA on Sunday, and I expect to be covering that. And like I'm saying, tomorrow there could be some pretty large protests as well. Generally, the protests here are larger on the weekends than the weekdays, and I intend to cover what pops up here. It's hard for me to gauge whether going to this autonomous zone in Seattle would really be worth it. It's hard for me to gauge right now. I've been around the world to different so-called autonomous zones, Exarchia, or however you pronounce it, in Greece, the so-called anarchist zone in Greece, although I don't think I've filmed there, but I've definitely been there, and likewise in some other places, and I don't know, maybe Seattle's way crazier than that. I'm not sure. I'll monitor it, but for now I'm not planning on going up there, but I could. Yeah, my power bank situation is perfectly fine now. Although it was the only night it was a problem was the night 3, I think it was. Yeah, I don't really want to pay 120 to 160 a night for a hotel room during COVID times, but that's another story. The power bank situation's fine. I think the only night I ran out was night 3, right after I filmed Starbucks getting looted. I haven't been keeping such close tabs on COVID. I hear in the news that cases are going up, but I'm not really concerned about that. I'm just focused on doing my work, and COVID isn't a huge aspect of it at the moment, although it definitely impacts my travels, and that I don't like whatsoever. Sorry, there's a helicopter over Minneapolis. So the latest news, as far as I'm aware, is the city council's voted to abolish or something like abolish the police department, but the mayor is opposed to it, and I don't know how that situation's gonna finagle itself out. But I would say that whoever wants to get on-the-ground coverage of what's happening in Seattle, I have a colleague, her name is Emma Lee, at least that's her Facebook name, EMMA, and then second name Leigh, and she's reporting on the ground in Seattle and has been since the get-go, and has had some incredible feeds that I recommend you check out. Emma Lee on Facebook. Sorry, I missed a couple of those comments. They're coming in pretty quickly. But yeah, the protests have definitely decreased in LA this week. I don't think they're dead. Annabelle on YouTube is Annabelle with 2 L's at the end. Annabell, and last name Osorio. Annabelle Osorio. Or if you go to my, and I know she's told me that some of you have already subbed to her and have been checking out her videos. So yeah, please everyone, go check out her channel. This morning I uploaded a video about the police standoff, and as I was mentioning before, those are her edits. It's a combination of her footage and mine. Someone was commenting that they could see me in the video. That's because she's also out here filming some of the time, and she's sometimes filming me. You seen where capt.777 got detained? He got detained right here, and I got told to get the hell out of there. Yeah, so if you go to the video that I uploaded earlier today, titled something like Downtown Los Angeles Police and Protesters Standoff, and if you go to the description of that, Annabelle's channel is in the description, so you can find her channel directly through that video's description. I don't know, we'll see, but I think we'll be collaborating more, that's for sure. She's been a tremendous help. Although she's not watching now, I don't think. She'd probably be commenting if she was. In Mexico, they burned a cop with alcohol? Really? I need to look into that. I do have a friend with a popular YouTube channel that I'm sure some of you know about, World Alternative Media. And my friend is Josh Sigurdsson. He's been down in, actually, I think he's in the Jalisco region. Will he collab with Psycho Drew? Can you remind me who Psycho Drew is? I forget. But yeah, I was saying Josh Sigurdsson's been down in Mexico in Puerto Vallarta. He's been reporting from down there for the past several months. The buff dude. Oh, was he the Psycho Drew? Must have been the guy who was riding around on a skateboard. And I bumped into him at a couple protests, once in Hollywood and once in downtown LA, if that's the guy I was thinking of. I think that's Psycho Drew. Yeah, I bumped into him a couple times. And I think he did some really good work on that skateboard, particularly in Hollywood and maybe elsewhere. I need to check out his channel. I don't know what all he filmed other than the couple times I bumped into him. But yeah, that skateboard seemed to be pretty handy. Are you talking about Seattle? What are you talking about with regard to the rentals? Oh, cool. Someone's watching from Australia. I have no idea what time it is there. Well, look, I can't do this every single day. I mean, this channel isn't my work. It's not my business. Sometimes it ties into reporting that I do for various publications. And this channel is very much part of my journalistic career, but I gotta focus on work that gets me paid for a lot of the day, and sometimes it works out that I can do a whole bunch of videos and a whole bunch of streaming, and sometimes not. But lately I've been pretty active on YouTube. The whole channel's demonetized, so I can't do super chats. So be it. Psycho Drew did a good job. Oh yeah, MGK. So for those of you who are tuned in during, yeah, I'm fully demonetized. For those of you who are tuned in early on in last Sunday's, I saw something with Jacob Zone. No, I'm not demonetized for Bilderberg. What was I saying? Oh yeah, for those of you who are tuned in to early on in last Sunday's stream in Hollywood, the really long one, the 6-hour, 40-minute one. I'll look into Seattle, but I don't know. I doubt that I'm gonna go, but I guess there's a possibility. Yeah, so for those of you who are tuned in early on in the long Hollywood stream last Sunday, I had no idea who the MGK guy was. Now I know it's Machine Gun Kelly. And I think you guys could hear me saying in the stream that I went up to him and I requested an interview, but he denied the interview. So I figured out from you guys that there was indeed this famous white rapper, and I guess he's not just a rapper, an actor as well. And I went up to him. All of us would switch over and you can get See, I don't want to have any dependence on YouTube monetization. To me, it's a trap for people like myself who are in the business of doing critical reporting, alternative media, whatever you want to call it. I look around and I look at my peers who have much bigger channels than me, and they're all demonetized now. Dan Dix demonetized last year, Press for Truth. Luke Radowski and We Are Change, who I work with, demonetized earlier this year. Josh Sigurdsson's World Alternative Media channel recently demonetized. I don't want to have any dependence on YouTube revenue anyway. I believe in selling goods and services that are of value to people, And I think having a popular YouTube channel is a very good marketing platform for selling goods and services you provide. No, this is not my full-time job. So for those of you who aren't familiar with my general work situation, I've for years worked for several news publications. CalCoast News, which is in California, and relates to the press pass I've got. It says CalCoast Times on it. I work for both CalCoast News and CalCoast Times. Those are sister publications. And for several years, I worked for Bulgaria Analytica in Bulgaria. I still have some ties with them, but not nearly to the extent I used to. And I do lots and lots of behind-the-scenes work for We Are Change. So I do lots of business and marketing work for We Are Change. And this YouTube channel, it's not my work, it's not my business, it's my passion, but it does tie into other work I do. So for instance, there'll be times when I'm out in Europe or in Turkey covering something for Bulgaria Analytica, and I'll be doing these video reports, and it ties into the reporting I'm doing for Bulgaria Analytica, or sometimes it might tie into the reporting I'm doing for CalCoast News, as is the case with the LA protests and riot coverage. Some of that has appeared in CalCoast News, but I do paid work for We Are Change. I'll leave it at that. I addressed this in my birthday live stream last November in Istanbul. And I really don't have a problem with this channel not being a moneymaker. I started putting up videos on this channel purely out of passion. Purely because I was going to places in the world that I wanted to make videos about, and I put them up. I didn't have the intention of this channel being a business. If this channel grows, I'm flipping the camera around just to show you that capt.777 is still here, and I feel kind of bad because now I'm hijacking your stream and turning it into a half-hour Q&A.
No, not at all. That's all.
But why don't you just pop back in there? So some people have been saying that I need to be doing more Q&A. Oh, just kidding, you guys are rock stars. It's your passion. Look, I don't know if you're referring to Luke and We Are Change or whatnot. I personally, I want to see We Are Change be a big business, because we need revenue in order to sustain what we do. Luke's got incredible drive. I'd like to think that I've got drive as well, and we're both passionate about what we do. But it takes revenue to fund all this stuff. Like, if you want to... I mean, if Luke's going to Hong Kong, that's not free. If I'm going to Seattle, it's not free. Someone's saying I made Noodle Man a star. Get back in here, Noodle Man.
Love that.
Some people are talking about passion.
Passion, okay. Yeah. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people know this. Very few people know this about me. The people who know me, I worked in the culinary industry, so I'm really good with cooking. Love cooking, man. I've been doing it since junior high. I've been doing it. I did it in college. Only thing is, later on, like my second year in college, it hit me. I thought, you know what, maybe this isn't something for me. Even though I'm great at it, I'm good at it, but I don't know why. That came to mind. I got out of cooking, culinary, and I just been working for the company I currently work for.
But do you still find that
oh yeah,
culinary arts or cooking is sorry, I gotta put my mask back on. Is cooking still a passion of yours?
Yeah, you know what? I enjoy it. I enjoy cooking at home. I enjoy when I'm out with friends cooking. I think cooking is one of those skills that it wows people. They're just like, wow, this guy can cook. It's just something I really enjoy, and I'm thinking of going back to school for it again, just because I ended up leaving at my second year, and I didn't I didn't basically get my associate's degree with that. That was my plan, you know, get my associates with that. You know, just get at least something that can certify me, saying that I know what I'm doing. I really do know what I'm doing, but I'm just not certified, if that makes
Are you
sense.
following these comments?
It says cooking.
These are comments for you. Someone was saying something about nice eyes, cooking eyes. I didn't catch
Nice
it.
cooking eyes.
I don't know.
Love that. I didn't see that.
I think someone likes your eyes, but I didn't catch the entirety of the
My
comments.
eyes are pretty baggy. I rarely sleep. I think they're pretty baggy. I mean, I don't know.
Luckily, my eyes didn't get all messed up when they got me, but they got me here pretty good.
Oh man.
But they're you probably can't even see a mark. Can you see a mark now?
It looks a little red. It looks a little red. I mean,
I had a much more pronounced red mark right here,
mhm.
but they got me way more there than they got me there. And then my lip, so I was in Santa Monica streaming the looting, and like I was telling you off camera, it was scary. The looters had overrun the town, and I realized I had to get out of there. And people who were tuned in the stream saw it. So I literally drove off to where that burnt cop car was.
Oh yeah.
And then so someone's saying, I remember your busted lip. So as I'm doing some Q&A, and I'm in the car with the mask down in Santa Monica, someone starts leaving a bunch of comments about the herpes on my lip, like telling me I need to wipe the herpes off my lip. Meanwhile, someone's saying, do you cook noodles for a living?
Do I cook noodles for a living? No, I do not. I actually cook. I can make pasta from scratch. It really isn't that hard. But if you guys decide to make pasta from scratch, I would recommend semolina flour. That's the way to go with semolina flour. You don't want to use all-purpose or 00, which is known as the same thing, you know, as all-purpose.
I think you need to start a noodle business now.
A noodle business? Most likely. I feel like it could take off just because...
I think it's the merger of your passion and just being in the right place at the right time, which was literally right here.
Right?
Yeah. Because now you're known as the noodle man.
The noodle guy. The noodle man. It says, what is it?
Throw noodles at the protesters. I wouldn't recommend that, but I think some people would watch if you did a YouTube video throwing noodles at the protesters. All right, I tell you guys what, we're at 57 minutes 30 seconds into this broadcast. Someone keeps saying capt.777 so good. Oh, you're getting a lot of positive remarks.
I love
Take
that.
a look.
What is that? It says, I want to see his noodles.
2 more minutes, then I'm wrapping this up.
I want to see his noodles. Just kidding. What is that? Like...
Yeah, some of these you see when you get a whole lot of comments at some point you just got to ignore the trolls.
Yeah, I love it though. It's funny.
But no, people have been pretty on point with humor. I will stream this Sunday. I expect there to be a large protest or protests. I need to figure out where exactly they will be, but regardless, that shouldn't be too difficult. On Sunday, I expect to be out and about streaming in LA, and possibly tomorrow as well. I think there will be protest action tomorrow. I don't know exactly what. As I mentioned before, there are protesters outside City Hall right now, but very few, and there are also tents. There are also tents set up on the lawn across the street, directly in front of City Hall, across the street, and it has a little bit of an Occupy feel, but not a whole lot of action over there right now. Okay, final comments and questions. 1 more minute, and then wrapping up this broadcast. Someone's saying together, Josh and Noodle Man will defeat racism. that's
Hey, let me know when you end up protesting. I'm down to
I'm not protesting. I'm just you're on
live streaming. Yes.
Well, you can come with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, let me know when.
All right. Sometime probably mid to late afternoon on Sunday.
Okay.
Someone's saying going to City Hall on Sunday. But yeah, I mean, it might be a whole gang. Maybe one of these days we bring out a whole team. You, me, this girl Annabelle Osorio, who you don't know, but the audience knows her.
If I get the chance to.
And then maybe a friend of mine who came out once, but he didn't go on camera. Not the musician, someone else. Yeah, maybe there'll be a whole crew of us.
Nice.
But I'm not throwing any noodles at the protesters.
No, I wouldn't even think of that because you know, obviously you're throwing stuff at people. Of course they're gonna get upset. You're gonna get a reaction out of them. Yeah. So
See, look at you. You're already ready. I mean, if you're at first you're saying you don't know anything about the protests,
Oh
but,
yeah.
but now you're ready to go out there and help stream with me.
Hell yeah. Yeah, exactly. Try to do something, you know? Try to do something. Because really, I haven't really been participating in the protests just because I'm, you know, sticking to work. I don't have,
I want to get you out from under this one light. Okay, here we go. This is a good background.
Lovely.
All right, here we go. Your final word. You get the final word of the whole interview. Sorry, you're saying the protests.
Oh, the protests. Yeah. I haven't really been doing out for the protests. I just been working. That's really about it. But final word. What is the final word? How do we wrap this?
Whatever you want to say, because this is your interview. This is us telling your story.
Oh man. Okay. I don't know what to say, but if you guys can give me a quick follow, a quick shout out, that'd be amazing. You know. That's about it.
All right, everyone knows where. capt.777.
capt.777.
One more time, very loud. So all of LAPD hears you.
All right, so it's capt.777. That's it right there. That's my Instagram.
All right, guys, that's all you need to know. So from downtown Los Angeles along Broadway between 2nd and 3rd, what do we say? Adios, amigos?
Adios amigos. Saying, translating out, bye friends. I'm sure
right.
you know that. Hell yeah.
I
Love that.
I can speak a little. All right. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys this weekend with more protest coverage. Good night, and see you soon. Ciao.